Hello again, Trophy, and welcome to another video. And this one's going to be something video game related, but also family related. So I just want to move my camera for a bit, that's all. Sorry. Sorry about that. So yeah, video games with family, which is a bit strange. So yeah, this is basically going to be about me talking about family with video games and stuff. And the reason why I'm actually doing this is because of the fact I've actually thought about doing this video for a little bit, quite a bit of time, because the fact that I remember I was talking when I made one video, and I actually near the end of it talked about my mother being a huge fan of Space Invaders, and someone actually commented about that his mother was really into video games, and you know his mother had a favourite game. It was Columns, is this person was saying. And I thought, well, I want to do something like this, you know what I mean? I thought I want to definitely talk about, you know, video games with my family, you know, the good parts and also the bad parts as well, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, overall, like I said, my family obviously understand and know about video games and stuff. Like I said, obviously my mother and my uncle used to go to the arcades with my nana when they were children, and they used to play all sorts of arcade games and stuff. And my uncle obviously liked him and stuff and loved him and stuff. So I think that's what really birthed him to like video games and stuff. But also my mother liked him as well, but she wasn't like a huge fan of him. She played them, but it was pretty much it with her. But one game that she loved to bits, and she still does to this day, is Space Invaders, and it's really the only game that overall, people may think, it sounds bad to this, but I don't care. I really, really don't care. But it's actually the only game that I'm actually unable to beat my mother at. So yeah, my mother is really, really good at Space Invaders. And it's always something that she's always loved over these past, decades and stuff. She's always loved to play Space Invaders. She always liked it and stuff. But my mother wasn't really into buying a game system, like a video game system to buy games. So she wasn't really into that sort of stuff. And obviously when she was getting a lot older, obviously she wasn't able to afford it, or even when even when she was younger, family couldn't really afford it because they were quite expensive at the time. You know what I mean? But over the years, when she got into adulthood and later on and stuff, video games wasn't really a thing that she was really into. But it really, like I said, her interest really grew into it with my uncle, because obviously at the time he owned a Sega Master System, so he did. And then years later he owned a Sony PlayStation. Then he owned a Nintendo 64, as well as a Game Boy Color, so he did, which he played a lot. And then he owned a Dreamcast, then an original Xbox, then a GameCube, then a Nintendo Wii, which he did eventually get rid of. He gave it to my sister, and an Xbox 360, and that's really the last system he ever bought. Now, obviously, he does understand how video games still going on and all that stuff, blah 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 blah. And even though he wasn't really into it after a while because of life and stuff, and obviously other things as well, he always knew that I was into it. Like, obviously I owned the DS, the DSi, the 3DS, and the new 3DS, and obviously now the new 2DS XL. And he just interested that obviously I still liked it and stuff, and we sometimes still have a little talks about video games and stuff. Not that much, but when I think when the thing comes up, it's just sort of interesting. My nana wasn't really into video games. It wasn't anything she was interested in doing. But it did sort of spark her interest, obviously, when my uncle started playing PlayStation and N64 and Dreamcast and all that sort of stuff. And then obviously when me and my sister got a lot older, obviously he started introducing us to video games and stuff. And I think after that, obviously we were really, really into it and stuff. And I think my nana used to really, really get annoyed at us and think, oh, it's always video games with you two, all this sort of stuff. But it was just something that we liked, we liked playing and stuff. It was really, really fun. And then after a while, obviously my sister started getting older. She started, working, she started getting into the world of work. She started socialising more, going out to places with her friends and stuff, and, meeting new people as well. And video games to her sort of took a step back, because obviously it wasn't really anything she was really into. Like, the last system my sister actually owned was the Wii, and that was really, really it. After a while, she didn't really play it that much. It was mostly me that was playing the Wii when I used to go see my sister. Because most of the time it was just literally sitting on a shelf collecting dust. And I was like the only person that ever played on it. Like, overall, I'm still like the only person that plays on it. And even though she still got it, she didn't really play it that much. But the peak interest really... the thing that got my sister back into video games was her partner, because her partner, Daniel, who I've mentioned before, he loves video games and stuff. And he, like I said, he currently owns a PlayStation 4, which my sister used to play a bit of, you know what I mean, the games and stuff. And then obviously near around Christmas time, he got a Nintendo Switch. And my sister's played a bit of that and stuff. And the one thing that actually shocked me with my sister was, it was end of... I think it was a month before. Oh yeah, it was a month before the Nintendo Switch came out. And I remember my sister said to me, she asked me, says, "Are you looking forward to the Nintendo Switch?" And I was shocked. I was like, "What?" I didn't say this, but I thought, well, what? I thought it's been years since my sister's ever talked about a video game system, and now she's like talking about it. And that's because of the fact Daniel got her back into it. And I was quite shocked because obviously she owned the Wii. She obviously didn't own the Wii U, because at that point she didn't really, video games wasn't really on her mind at the time, so it wasn't. And then with the Switch coming out, she's like, "Oh, have you heard about it?" And I was quite shocked to hear, you know what I mean? It was really, really funny. Whereas for me, I've always been into video games and stuff. Even when I was a younger, like, I was introduced to video games around the time when I was 3 years old. And I'll talk about this in the Sega Master System video, whenever I do get round to that one. And basically, my uncle at the time owned a Master System, and he was playing Alex Kidd, so he was. And it looked interesting, so it did, you know what I mean? Even though I didn't know what the heck it was at the time, I just thought, it's this game thing, so it is. And then after a while, my uncle and my nana started buying me game systems for Christmas. And then after a while, that's how I really, really got into it. And then obviously I became sort of addicted, if you want to say that. But I've always liked it and stuff, and that's just the way it is and stuff. Because people always wonder, have always asked me, says, "Would you ever stop playing them?" It'd take me a while to actually stop playing them. It really, really would. But, like, I don't play them all the time like I used to when I was younger and stuff, because obviously, life does get in the way and stuff, you know what I mean? And that's just how it goes. And obviously you've got to go through new interests and new experiences. That's just how it goes. And I like that, you know what I mean? But I've always liked him and stuff, and it's always one thing I've always been pleased about and stuff. Because obviously I've spoken to new people about it, and yeah, it's just how it goes and stuff. But I remember one moment with my nana, which she shocked me. We're just talking about that. I was talking about video games as usual. And I remember she mentioned about Super Mario, Mario and stuff. And I was really shocked when she knew that, about Mario. I thought, really, you know about Mario? And I thought, oh, it's the Nintendo, you know what I mean? She really, oh yeah, you know what I mean? And I was really, really shocked when she said that. And I said, you know Mario. I thought, I know you're an old woman, but a very, very old woman, but you know Mario. And even though my nana was, she never really touched a video game system, she knew Mario, and I liked that and stuff. And another thing I remember was when we had a family meal, so we did this. This was New Year's Day, sorry. I think it must have been about 6 years ago, 6 years. And I remember we played a bit of Wii bowling. And I remember my nana, she was playing on the Wii bowling. And obviously my nana wasn't able to fully, move the Wiimote, because obviously she had, pain in her arms and her legs and stuff. So obviously she just, move it like that. And I remember after we had a game of it, she was saying, she was telling us all that, that you know, it's the best exercise I've ever had in years. So it is. She said it was like the best, you know, best thing I've ever done in years, which just made us laugh and stuff. But she loved playing on the Wii for the time, you know, she had it and stuff. I don't think they'd ever own one because my nana and uncle, I don't think they'd ever own one because she won't really play that much. Like overall, she won't really. My nana wasn't really tech savvy, so I don't think she'd ever want you know, play it and stuff. That's just how she is. She did struggle that sort of stuff, and I can't really blame her because obviously a lot of people that age, a lot of the older generation, do struggle with technology, and you can't really blame them. You know what I mean? But that's just, you know, how it goes, that sort of stuff. Now, the thing with video games in my family was it's not always gone down, you know, well and stuff. Sometimes my mother would, especially my mother, would always question me about, you know, certain game systems or certain new video games consoles that are on the way. And I remember a few times when my nana and uncle would buy me. I remember one time, I think it was the Xbox 360 they bought me, and obviously it was great for me to have it and stuff. But my mum sort of questioned about it, so she did, because of the fact that they didn't like me buying new game systems, and to her back then, even when I was a child coming into my teenage years, she thought it was a waste of money, really. She thought it was a waste, and basically she didn't want me, you know, having too many game systems, basically telling me, well, you know, Dominic, you got all these game systems, you know what I mean, why do you need another one? Because technology improves. That's all I should say, you know what I mean? That's all it is, technology improves, you know what I mean? And even when I got a 3DS, it was still a bit, you know what I mean, just how my mother was. She didn't like me buying or getting new game systems because she thought it was a waste of time. And she always used to say, well, you've got this one, why do you need this one? And that's just how she is. And she'd always think it'd be not worth, you know, buying and stuff. Because I remember one time when the Wii U was when the Wii U was coming out, and I was saying to my mum, I said, Mum, I want a Wii U, I want a Wii U. And she said to me, says, I thought you already have a Wii. I thought, what's different about this? I said, it's the new console. It's the new console. It plays all these new games. And she didn't really, you know, pay attention. But I'd say to her mum, I said, these are new consoles. I thought it's not the same stuff. It's the new technology and stuff. And she'd always get really, really annoyed at me. You know what I mean? Or if I bought a video game system without her knowing, she'd get really, really moody and annoyed. And I remember when I bought the Game Gear, Sega Game Gear, I bought that back in November 2014. So I got it through an auction on eBay for quite cheap. And I remember I played it, and at first I enjoyed playing it. It was really, really good. And then I'd play it sometimes to try and get her attention. And I remember one time I left it downstairs, which I just put downstairs. And I remember I was playing on the Wii U, and I hear this voice from Mum, and she goes, Dominic, get down here now. And I thought, okay, what the heck have I done now? And I come down, and she says to me, so she points, so she does, at the Game Gear, and she says, what's that? And I said, oh, it's my little game thing. I said, you know, I've had it for a while. And she said to me, oh, I've never seen that before. And I said, is that recent you got it now? And I said, no, I've had it for a bit of time. And she said to me, says, don't lie to me. I said, tell me the truth. And I said, I got it recently. So I did, I got it recently. And she said to me, says, why are you wasting your money on that sort of stuff? And she was going right crazy on me, so she was. And I said to her, it was only £13. I thought, £13? And she got really, really annoyed at me. And I was really, really worried. I remember I was really scared, you know what I mean? And she said to me, says, no more video game systems, okay? That's what she said to me. No more video game systems anymore. Even if new ones come out, you're not going to buy them. And that's what ended up happening, you know what I mean? And she got really, really annoyed, and I didn't like it. I was really, really worried. So it's like if I ever bought anything video game related, I'd literally not even tell her, you know what I mean? And that's just what ended up happening. But it just got a bit worse and stuff. But that's just how it goes. She was actually quite fine with it when I started working though, and started earning money, and you know, buy my own stuff. But she used to, you know what I mean? She used to get, you know, really judgmental about it and stuff. And that's what used to used to really scare me with mum and stuff. But nowadays she's not really like that, because obviously I'm an adult, you know what I mean. I'm old enough to buy stuff now. Because when I bought the PlayStation 4 after Christmas 2016, so I told my mum about it, and she was fine with it, so she was. When I bought the Xbox One, she was fine with that. When I bought the PlayStation 3, she was sort of hesitant, so she was, because I wanted to get one because there were games that I wanted to play, and this was going back June 2015. And I said to my mum, the thing is, I said, I want to buy a PlayStation 3. The thing is, some games I want to play on that. And she said to me, I said, Dominic, why do you need it? And I said, because of the fact there's some games on there that are not on other systems. And this is the thing with a lot of parents, is that they don't understand, why, these new games are only for the new system. Because technology changes over time, and that's just how it goes. I'm not trying to be, sound like a douchebag here, but that's just the way it goes. It's like phones. Why do you need a new phone? Because they need to upgrade. You know what I mean? Why do you need a new laptop? Why do you need a new computer? Because they need to upgrade. Because it's getting old. You know what I mean? And that's the problem with mum and stuff, is that she accepts it for laptops and computers, but for video game systems, she didn't really think that. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it goes. So she said to me, if you want to buy a PS3, go ahead. So I bought one, so I did. And I showed her it, and she said it looks quite nice, actually. And that's just, the way it goes and stuff. Yeah, that's just how it goes. It used to really annoy her. And I think even we've gone through those times when we were younger, when we were children, when we're playing a game and, your mum or your family or whatever say, oh, well, dinner's ready, or you got to go to bed now. And, you still be playing the game and stuff. And then, someone would come up and literally turn the system off for you. And that would become a real nuisance, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, well, you got school in the morning, but I want to keep playing. And one thing I used to do when I had the Game Boy Advance SP is I used to play that under the sheets, when I'd be in bed and stuff. So I'd have like the duvet over me, and I'd have the game on. And so basically what I'd do is I'd have the volume on really low or off entirely. And that's what I used to do. And then sometimes she would catch me out, so she did. Because obviously you can easily see the light on it and stuff. But it's just little things like that make it, funny to look back on, and I just like it and stuff. Now, looking back, do my family still like video games and stuff? Obviously I can't really speak for my nana, because obviously she wasn't really into them. But obviously, she's no longer here. She passed away near 3 years ago, so she did. But I think even if she was here, she'd probably say, no, I'm not really into him and stuff. She couldn't really understand why I was into him, you know what I mean? My uncle is into him, so he does. He don't really play him that much, so he don't. Just how it goes with him and stuff. My sister, she's sort of mixed about it, you know what I mean? Because obviously she hasn't really played it that much. She sometimes still plays, you know what I mean, little bits and stuff, but that's pretty much it. My uncle is the same as well. My mother, she used to love playing the Wii, so she did like the bowling and stuff with the Wii Sports. And we used to have a lot of like Wii nights, so we did. Like every Thursday and stuff. We used to watch Big Bang Theory, and then we'd have a game of on the Wii, so we do like Wii Sports, or Wii Sports is art even, you know what I mean? That's a good game. Which is pretty good. And then you got my stepdad, who basically thinks it's a waste of time, so he does. He thinks that it's that's not really bad. Because I remember one incident when I was 12 years old, and I had a bit of pocket money, so I did. I remember I bought myself a Nintendo Wii game. I bought Excite Truck, so I did. And I bought it for a tenner second hand. And it's still a good game. I've not played it in a while. And I remember we got home one day, and after a bit of time, obviously, this was long before, this was around the time when they started dating, my mother and her partner. And I remember I told him, says, oh, I got this game for the Wii, I got this game for the Wii. And I remember he told me, he says, oh, Dominic, you shouldn't be wasting your money on that sort of stuff. I said, oh, there's better things to do with, there's better things to, do with money than, playing games and stuff. And I remember looking back at that a couple of years ago and I thought, you don't tell that to a 12-year-old. It's not like a 12-year-old's going to, put a bet on the, the Grand National, well, obviously the car, because you've got to be over 18, but, or they're going to, put it in a savings account. The thing is, when you're a child, you want to have fun. You spend pocket money on sweets or whatever, or you get yourself a video game or whatever. You do that. And that's because the fact that my stepdad is sort of old-fashioned in that way and stuff. And he basically thinks it's a waste of money. Even to this day, he still thinks it's a waste. You know what I mean? And I don't really care what they keep, he says half the time. Because, it's just the way it goes. Like, he sometimes likes watching DVDs. Do I say they're a waste of time? Probably not, you know what I mean? But, yeah, that's just how it goes and stuff. But I think also with my niece and stuff, will she get into them when she's older? She might do, actually, you know what I mean? Because I remember my sister was saying that, maybe, she's saying, oh, maybe Uncle Dom will get you into the video games and stuff. You know what I mean? So that'd be pretty good and stuff, especially Doctor Who as well. I think she'll want me to. I think my sister will want me to get my niece into that as well. So yeah, so just how it goes. Video games and stuff. I still like them. Not everyone likes them in family, but everyone's got their own opinions on stuff, so they do. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different, so it is, but I wanted to, change it up and stuff. But I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear what your experiences of video games are. Were your experiences of video games good? You know what I mean, or were they bad? Did you have family that absolutely detested them, or did you have family that absolutely loved them? I'd love to hear what your thoughts about that are. But I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Just to let you know, there'll be a bit of a change with the delay of the schedule videos for the week. Obviously I usually upload on Friday and Saturday, so I do. There's going to be a bit of a change, so there is. So the Friday video, which is the Alex Francis one, will be uploaded on Thursday, so it's the 15th. And the one that I'll do on Saturday will be uploaded on the Friday, the 16th of March. For the following week, the obviously Tuesday video will be same as usual, and for the other two videos, the Friday one will be on the 22nd of March, which is Thursday, and the Saturday one will be uploaded on Friday the 23rd of March. So I just wanted to inform you about that. I probably will do a little bit quick video later on or shortly, whatever, just to let you know about that. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all on Thursday. See you later. Bye.